Hello and welcome to another episode of Pete's Corner. I'm Madison Morris.
And I'm Chris Notch. We're really excited for this week because we get to show you why this is America's greatest homecoming.
From the Harvest Carnival to Sea of Orange Parade, we've got it all. Don't go anywhere or you'll miss out on all of these great traditions. There's nothing that kicks off homecoming week quite like the dyeing of Library Lawn Fountain. The Executive Committee gathers Sunday to dye the fountain America's brightest orange, commencing all homecoming festivities.
I know whenever I see the orange fountain, it's finally the best week of the year.
My favorite part of this week is all the spirit that's incorporated in every event throughout the entire week. And there's nothing more spirited than the Sea of Orange Parade, which occurs at the end of this week to excite not only alumni, but all Cowboy fans for the big football game. Our very own Mason Ponder takes us down to the parade to give us a closer look.
The Oklahoma State Homecoming Parade has been an OSU tradition since 1930, when the first parade was held down on Main Street. While growing in popularity since then, the parade has become a symbol of pride during homecoming. But in 2015, the parade and its significance will be taken to a different level.
Stillwater police just announcing, unfortunately, that 3 people died, 8 people still in critical condition, 7 more people in serious condition.
The Oklahoma State Homecoming Parade is probably one of the most wholesome, happy events in the country. And to have it fouled like this and these victims, it's terrible tragedy. We reach out and embrace the victims and their families.
The hashtag #StillwaterStrong was started after the tragedy and grew to be the symbol of hope for the community during a tough time.
Hundreds of people once again lined the streets for this year's annual parade. Despite the differences in organization, age, or affiliation, everyone is a true cowboy today.
The community is one whole during homecoming weekend, but especially so during the parade. Everyone is supporting one another and celebrating the pride that comes with being a cowboy. The joy that the floats bring to kids and the sense of pride for returning alumni are all reasons why the homecoming parade has been and always will be one that betters the homecoming experience for all. From Pete's Corner, I'm Mason Ponder.
Thanks, Mason. I just wish we could have been there to see these incredible floats in person.
You know, Madison, although you can only catch the parade Saturday morning, everyone in Stillwater can see the house decorations throughout campus and around the Greek neighborhood, as well as the signs on Library Lawn, all weekend long. Natalie Sutton takes us to University Avenue to give us the full experience of pomping and walk around. When we get back, we will show you the signs on Library Lawn.
At Walk Around, people see a house-sized wall with moving parts made exclusively of metal, glue, and tissue paper for only one weekend of the year. This tradition started in the 1930s when sororities started to decorate their front porch during homecoming, which led to what is known as today as America's Greatest Homecomings Deck Competition. To break down the process of how the Greeks pull this off, on average, one particular pairing has a sorority with about 200 members and a fraternity with about 100 members. All pump or weld about 10 hours a week, starting the second week of school, and that equals a grand total of 21,000 hours. But that doesn't even include the OSU executive directors, the Greek House's homecoming directors, or the 24-hour all-night pomp. Kappa Alpha Order's homecoming director says the work starts way months before anyone sees it. He puts in close to 30 to 40 hours a week, and during homecoming, he expects long nights. Each fraternity has about 25 members on each welding crew, some learning as they go and others guiding. Homecoming directors say each member brings something different to the table.
That ability to notice and recognize the abilities of other individuals and how you can come together and make something great is something that you can definitely carry on. I mean, that's applicable through all of life, you know, just being able to work with other people.
Homecoming directors say the secret to getting the picture layout is through a system called stitches. Each square is assigned to a color of pomp. It's the little things like preparing the screens with the correct key map to pomping them perfectly that is crucial.
All right, you can't forget the glue because the glue is the most important part in keeping the pomp all together. Now when it comes to the color, you follow this map, and as you can see over my shoulder, that's where you have the color key. And all those shapes and everything correlate with this, so it's a lot easier than it looks. So make sure you have to have all your pomp lined up with this, because this chicken wire lines up with the pomp perfectly. And so, as you can see, this symbol right here means light blue. So you just poke it in right there, and that's how you pomp.
Alpha Delta Pi's homecoming director says this experience taught her to problem solve on the spot and honed her leadership skills. But she also took away something else from all the time she spent with her sisters in the Mint of Pi Kappa Alpha. This 80 Pi director says these are the moments when you make those friendships that will last a lifetime, and that's what homecoming is all about. All the engineering involved, being a leader for hundreds of people, organization to get the decks up on time, and everything else in between. To make sure OSU has America's greatest homecoming is what the Greeks pride themselves on. As soon as the poles are pulled out of the ground, the Greeks are already critiquing themselves on how to improve and start planning on next year's pairing. OSU's homecoming executives say being loyal and true to OSU is just another cowboy tradition.
Homecoming means a lot, and I think it's pretty cool seeing everybody come back together 1 week out of the year.
Squire says he speaks on behalf of the Greek life that preparing for homecoming is quite the task, but would go back in a heartbeat. For Pete's Corner, I'm Natalie Sutton.
Wow, Natalie, I feel like I just completed all-night pomp myself. I never realized how much work actually went into creating these house decorations.
House decorations aren't the only way for students to get involved in homecoming by using their artistic sides. The sign competition showcased right here on Library Lawn allows various student organizations to show some homecoming spirit. Students are given creative freedom to put their own twist on the overall homecoming theme, Herald Your Fame. OSU fans can vote on their favorite submissions online as part of the Phillips 66 Fan Favorite Competition.
This week didn't become America's greatest homecoming overnight. The week's traditions go back over the past 100 years. To learn a little more about homecoming history, we go to Carly Hasty.
Every year in October, Stillwater, Oklahoma brings in thousands of alumni and football fans to America's greatest homecoming. In 1913, Stillwater welcomed alumni to its first homecoming celebration as part of the town's Harvest Carnival. 7 years later, OSU held its own homecoming celebration. Now, 97 years later, after the first official celebration, OSU students and alumni can still come together and celebrate the past, the present, and the future endeavors of the university.
There's a real tie to this place, and people identify, I think, quality life lessons learned here and a sense of belonging here.
In 1930, OSU hosted its first ever homecoming parade. More than 17,000 alumni came back to Stillwater that year. World War II brought a decline in attendance, but the crowds came back in full force in 1946, with attendance reaching 20,000. What was once a one-day affair has turned into a week of fun events for the community to experience. The dyeing of the Edmund Lowe Fountain is the perfect signifier for an amazing week of homecoming celebrations. Its orange water makes a perfect picture spot for both alumni and students to enjoy. From the decorative signs, to Hester Street paintings, to the elaborate house decks, OSU students work tireless hours to make homecoming the greatest in the nation. The OSU Alumni Association presents homecoming each year, but the celebrations would be impossible without the help from the homecoming executives, steering, and big committees.
I got to speak with a lot of people that haven't been here in 20 plus years, and just them saying like, hey, this homecoming's changed. And not only homecoming, it's cool to see them say, Stillwater has changed and campus has changed. It's not every day you find an event that brings 100,000 people back home for a whole event. That's not common.
No matter where you go after college, Stillwater will always be home. For Pete's Corner, I'm Carly Hasty.
Thanks, Carly. It's cool to hear about all the history behind the week.
Don't go anywhere, because when we get back, Chris will take you down to the Harvest Carnival to show you all the good it's doing for the OSU community. Welcome back. We're live at Theta Pond. All this talk about homecoming got us excited, and we wanted to check out the lighting of Theta Pond for ourselves during the break. Now Chris will take us down to the Payne County Expo Center to show us what the Harvest Carnival is all about.
See you, Madison.
Bye, Chris.
The Harvest Carnival continues to be a staple of America's greatest homecoming. In its 104th year, it continues to bring OSU and the Stillwater community together through the donation of canned food items. Along with the educational games that flood the Payne County Expo Center, the donation of a canned food item or $3 is required for entrance as part of the Alumni Association's philanthropy.
We require Greek students, each pairing, to spend $400 on their canned goods, and then Residential Life has to bring 50 canned goods to enter into sweepstakes for Harvest Carnival, and then student organizations have to bring 25. And then we do the community aspect where you can bring a can to get in for free.
The Harvest Carnival has worked with Harvest 2 since it was first established 29 years ago.
This 15 ounces of corn is just a small dent in the 50,000 pounds of donated goods Harvest 2 is expecting this homecoming season.
Julie Hamill said, watching how student volunteers change their mindset is one of the perks of the job.
The effort that they put in, they come and they have their headphones on and, they're just kind of acting like they don't care, and then they get involved and you just see this change in them. And they start caring and they start seeing how much work goes into it and how the process happens. And just seeing that happen is very rewarding.
18% of Oklahoma, including college students, rely on these donations.
The goods are brought from area businesses, churches, the public schools, some of the Christian schools, and then they are distributed to 8 agencies, which make up 11 agencies here in Payne County.
The goal for Harvest 2 is to collect 50,000 pounds of food. Although the pressure to collect enough is always present, at the end of the day, whatever is collected goes directly back to the Stillwater community, and it's making a positive effect. Her husband understands firsthand what it means to receive food from Harvest. So as an adult, he never misses an opportunity to give back to the community that once gave back to him. Because after all the games are over and music stops playing, making a difference in the community is what really matters.
For Pete's Corner, I'm Chris Notch.
Hey, Chris. It looks like the kids really enjoyed themselves and learned a lot.
I think they did. I'm so impressed with their goal of raising 50,000 pounds of canned foods.
Did you know that the Harvest Carnival isn't the only philanthropic carnival that occurs during homecoming week? Delta Tau Delta Fraternity hosts a carnival every year that benefits juvenile diabetes. Thomas Fleming took us to the scene to give us more information.
Every year, thousands of Stillwater residents flock to University Street to experience the best homecoming in America. But although the adults flood the streets to see the decks, the kids flock to a different spot. The Delta Tau Delta Homecoming Carnival sees over 10,000 people come through every year. The carnival plays a major role in including children in the homecoming experience. It gives them the opportunity to be involved in the homecoming walk-around festivities in a fun way.
With almost 100,000 people coming each year for Carnival, most of the attractions are centered to target people our age or older. So by having the carnival, we target a younger audience, getting them more involved in what is truly America's greatest homecoming.
The carnival brings in multiple rides and vendors every year. Kids can ride animals, have fun on rides, and exert their energy on attractions.
And not only does the carnival give kids an opportunity to have fun, it follows in the footsteps of other homecoming events like the Harvest Carnival that raises money for a good cause in the process.
This carnival that they put on here in Stillwater is one of the biggest philanthropies, and it benefits JDRF, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And there are very few events across the whole Delt platform to raise more money than this one does.
Although the carnival isn't one of the major reasons why OSU has America's greatest homecoming, the homecoming itself gives local philanthropy events an opportunity to maximize their fundraising efforts with an increased community participation. It's one of the many examples on how homecoming affects not only the university, but the Stillwater community as a whole. Last year's carnival celebrated its 15th anniversary, and it raised over $24,000 for JDRF. None of that would be possible without OSU and all the Oklahoma State people that attend homecoming walkarounds. It's because of America's greatest homecoming that kids are given the opportunity to have fun and raise money for a worthy cause. For Pete's Corner, I'm Thomas Fleming.
Thanks, Thomas. I really love seeing everyone in this community come together to help each other out.
Homecoming is special at OSU because it's more than just a fun time. This wouldn't be America's greatest homecoming without all the philanthropy included all throughout the week. While homecoming isn't only fun and games, the Greek community's Basketball Bonanza tournament is. Mason Ponder was courtside to check it out.
Football Frenzy is an annual football tournament that kicks off the start of homecoming week every year. As you can tell, there's no football being played behind me, so let's head inside the Colvin Annex to see how teams are competing instead. The Football Frenzy tournament was changed to Basketball Bonanza this year, played as 5-on-5 teams inside the Annex, and was also the first time in over 6 years that it has not been football.
We decided to change it because we had a chance for rain the couple of days before the tournament, and if there was rain per the bylaws of the Alumni Association, we couldn't have an outdoor flag football tournament, so we had to move it inside, so we played basketball. I think it was successful because Greek pairings were still able to compete against each other and cheer for their pairings, as well as in an environment like a basketball arena. Since it was covered, there was a lot more noise, and the noise kind of echoed everywhere, so it made for more of an energetic atmosphere.
And energetic it was. Each team had their house of support, led with coordinated chants, waves, and as much noise as they could muster in order to give their team the edge. These chants are important, as they also count for spirit points during the rest of homecoming week.
So I really think that Frenzy is important because it's an amazing way to show your school spirit at the same time as showing the spirit that you have with your homecoming pairing. I think it's also amazing because it just really shows how important that tradition is to OSU, because this year we changed it up and it became Basketball Bonanza instead of Football Frenzy, which was a little bit disappointing at first, but honestly everybody took it so much in stride, and I think that's really an important thing this year because it shows we can be very adaptable with that change and we can really just make a difference at OSU.
Whether it's football or basketball, the week is kicked off the right way through this annual tradition that truly embraces the homecoming spirit. From Pete's Corner, I'm Mason Ponder.
Thanks, Mason. What's homecoming without a little competition? The focus of homecoming weekend might be the football game, but the basketball team gets their time to shine on Friday night. Cowboy fans fill the stands of Gallagher-Iba Arena for homecoming and hoops. It's one of the first looks we get at the basketball team for the upcoming season. This year, the wrestling team also had their time in the spotlight. Players participated in a series of games to show the fans their skills. The basketball team also debuted their new uniforms. Homecoming and Hoops is also the main spirit rally for the weekend, making it America's greatest homecoming celebration.
Homecoming and Hoops is one of my favorite traditions here at Oklahoma State. And now we go to Ariel Farm to tell you all about residential life traditions.
Little sleep is often a trademark of college, but during America's greatest homecoming, Oklahoma State University students take all-nighters to the next level. Residential communities are one of many student groups that compete in homecoming contests and volunteer countless hours to welcome thousands of alumni back to a festive campus.
When you hang out with friends, you all work on something together, you get to have the pride of actually going out and seeing what you've spent so many hours and so much time on, compete against other floats and other people, and it's just a great experience to have in total.
Skylar is a member of one of the 6 residential hall teams competing to win the 2017 Residential Hall Homecoming Sweepstakes Award. Halls competing to win the Sweepstakes Award participate in several events. They test out their creativity with a float in the Sea of Orange Parade. They show off their artistic talent in a sign contest, and they even chef it up in the chili cook-off.
With all the work that residential halls put into homecoming, I can't help but wonder, do students really give up all that free time and sleep just to win a competition? I think that it isn't so much about this as it is about the unforgettable memories and friendships that residential halls form during homecoming preparations.
And we think the homecoming week, the weekend, is a prime opportunity for our students to learn about other people that are living in close proximity with them.
Living in a dorm guarantees you'll bump into a lot of different people every day. But during homecoming, neighbors become friends and all-nighters become unforgettable memories. For residential halls, it's not about the programming, but the people that make OSU's homecoming America's greatest homecoming. For Pete's Corner, I'm Ariel Favre.
Thanks, Ariel. What a great opportunity it is for students to get involved in Res Life. We're so glad we got to take you around campus to show you why this is America's greatest homecoming. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Pete's Corner. I'm Madison Morris.
And I'm Chris Notch. We'll see you next week, and go Pogues!